Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Jayaron Jose from CELTA of Oman, from the University of Technology and Applied Sciences. I really want to appreciate the TESL conference organizers, especially Ms. Melanie and the organization team for arranging and giving us this opportunity online for the first time. In fact, I have been presenting in TESL conference face-to-face for the past few years continuously. It's a great privilege and opportunity I consider to present online. And I welcome all the participants. Coming to our topic today, AI-powered, artificial intelligence-powered search progress in Microsoft Teams for promoting research skills and information literacy. As all of us know, Microsoft Teams is being used ever since COVID took place. And it is still continued in universities across the globe, especially in our university. After going into online mode, Microsoft has introduced a number of AI-powered accelerators, or they call it learning accelerators. They are called speaker progress, reading progress, search progress. And recently, in last year, December 2024, they introduced mathematics progress. And these are all AI-supported learning tools, which are really helpful to teachers and students. It can give feedback to students like no teacher can give in a matter of seconds, and students can practice tasks by themselves, and they can get feedback, they can improve. At the same time, teachers can monitor and engage students personally. Search progress as a learning accelerator was introduced in 2023. So from my study, I found that it is not much widely used. There are fewer studies that are taking place to know the effectiveness of this tool. And keeping interest in knowing about AI tools apart from ChatGPT, we in our center or at our university, we started experimenting with the various tools that are offered by Microsoft Teams at our university. Okay, so in this session, these are the session outline. So I'll start with session objectives, then a few pieces of literature review. Learning theories will be addressed as a foundation for the study, and participants will be introduced about the Microsoft search progress in MS Teams. A methodology of studies will be discussed, and analysis and findings will be presented, and finally conclusion and a few recommendations. And the participants can have any questions, you can raise them. If time permits, I will just demonstrate how we can set search progress task in our classroom, and we can engage students through that. The session objectives are to introduce AI-enabled search progress in MS Teams through literature review, to examine the integration of search progress with learning theories, to explore key features and functionalities of search progress, to present research objectives and questions, the methodology, the findings of an explorative study being conducted at Preparatory Study Center, University of Technology and Applied Science, Al-Musannah, Oman. Also to make some recommendation based on the findings of the study. And the conclusion. As part of literature review, as all of us might know, but for the sake of the study, I would like to define what is Microsoft Teams. It's a team collaboration application developed by Microsoft as part of the Microsoft 365 family of products, offering workspace chat and video conferencing, file storage, and integration of proprietary and third-party application and services. Of course, all of us know we have been, most educational institutions, many as I know, have been using this Microsoft Teams. Now, the new thing is that Microsoft Teams has developed and integrated various AI-powered learning accelerators, as I mentioned earlier. And our topic is search progress in MS Teams. Now, what is search progress? Search Progress and Search Coach are free tools built into Teams, Microsoft Teams for Education, that empower students to think critically and search with confidence. Of course, Search Progress is the one that is integrated into Microsoft Teams, whereas Search Coach is the independent application about application with all the features of Search Progress. Now, how does it benefit, and why Search Progress is quite very important? For educators, they get visibility into how students search for and find information, like how showing your work tends transparency to a math problem. Now, we know that we conduct research, especially we used it in our project and presentation course at our university, where students are asked to search a topic, and then finally they have to come up with a report. So they have to paraphrase the literature they reviewed, and then they have to submit a report at the end of the semester. Now, some students might turn up with a report without any homework or without any background. So teachers have no clue whether it is plagiarized. Of course, there are plagiarism tools, but they can even overcome that with the AI tools itself. They can paraphrase things. So educators can, it's just like students solve the mathematics problem. Finally, they come up with the answer. So teachers or the stakeholders have no idea how they got the answer. To be reliable, they should know the steps of getting the answer. Similarly, for a research work or a research report, students can use, teachers and students can know how students progressed and where they started searching, what are the links they search, what are the articles, how many they search, and from which source they paraphrase the ideas. All these things are recorded systematically in this AI tool. I'll demonstrate it later on. And for students, so teachers can know that the students are really working on their own and they are producing their original work. Now, coming to students, students learn how to discern the credibility of sources and search more effectively online, while built-in reflection opportunities help to, help to foster critical thinking skills throughout. Now, this function like a Google or a Google search engine or any other search engine. However, if students go on Google search, teachers have no control, they can monitor. Even students themselves, if they are not, if they don't have the information literacy, they do not know which source they are, whether the sources that they're referring to is reliable or not. Search Progress solve these problems. Now, as I told, this is how the Search Progress it functions, and it helps the teachers. First, teachers create an assignment in MS Teams using Search Progress, and the assignment is given to the students. So they open the Search Progress link, and it will display like a search engine, and they will search their information that they want to for their information. And finally, they will submit their research report and search progress report. So when they submit the assignment, teachers will get two reports or two outputs. One is search progress, and the other one is their report itself. They will attach their report. Now, how it helps teachers? So teachers get a report describing the assignment summary. I think you can see my screen where teachers come to know how many searches students did for that project and how many sources they saved and how many links they opened. So teachers know, well, they can, if teachers doubt the students' work or whether they think that plagiarized, they can go to these links and they can verify based on the search progress report. Now, it depends on the number of resource sources they are required to refer. For example, in the project that we do here, we ask students minimum 4 resources should be, or 4 references should be saved, or it should be referenced. Correct, reliable references should be saved in the search progress. So whichever they use in the report or they cite in the report, that is saved in the search progress. Meanwhile, other details describe how many links they served, they searched, and how many they opened. All the details teachers get. And here is the detailed one. If teachers want to see whichever the links they looked for, they read, we get a detailed report on that. So this gives a clarity on how students progress, whether the work that students submitted is original or it is their work or they lifted it from elsewhere. So teachers get a clarity on the work and the progress of their learners. Now, as a search tool, there is an option where once they have identified the sources and they think that is reliable and that the information that is appropriate, they can add the citations. Of course, there are different citation adding tools, independent tools are there, but this is teachers can monitor it like mentally and other application they can use, but this is teachers monitored and it goes as part of the classroom assignments. So students can add the citation and they can also paraphrase. So if they have located this, for example, this link, and this is the one that gives them the relevant information, they can add the citation here. They can just add the date of publication, the title of the publication, the author's name, and search progress automatically will convert that to APA format. Here we follow APA. There are other formats also. This one basically, by default, it has APA format. And also students can include the explanation. It's like a paraphrasing of the information that they collected in points or in few sentences on their own. They can type in, and later they can use this information to complete their report. Now, the very purpose of the search progress, as mentioned by Microsoft Teams, and we can find it in the program itself, this is to enhance information literacy. So what is information literacy? It can be defined as a pupil's ability to recognize when information is needed and locate and evaluate and use the needed information effectively. Now, students face this problem, especially if they are early researchers, especially the course project and presentation that we do at our university. It is just an introduction to research. Students try to follow all the basic research methodology and research tips, and then finally they produce a report of 13 pages, including references and analysis. So information literacy is becoming an increasingly important skill set for people living in the digital age. So that's important, as all of us know. Students are bombarded with information now with AI revolution, and even that as we heard in the third session, that it's also not very reliable. What are the information that they get through AI? That is also biased for a number of reasons. So information literacy is quite important. And even if they go to Google, it will take them to millions of sources, and it requires them the skill to identify which one is relevant, which one is needed, and which part they need to paraphrase, and all these things they need. And search progress comes as a solution to that. Microsoft Search Progress, supported with reliability ratings of articles and information from NewsGuard, provides its users an enhanced opportunity to search and find information that is relevant and reliable. So NewsGuard is an organization that rates the authentic sources or the articles or publications which could be trusted. So when students access these sources through search progress, they could find the rating of NewsGuard. So they will rate it as 100% reliable, 75% reliable, or 85% reliable. So students can choose the correct information, and they get and the AI supported tool help them in this regard. Now, in order to as a theoretical framework for this study, I have looked into different theories, and there are a number of learning theories support the use of this search progress. However, a few selected theories and the principles are presented here for the audience information, and how the principles works in using this. As all of us know, constructivist learning with Microsoft Search, the principles of constructivism works helps support the use of search progress. Students create construct knowledge actively. They search, they find information, they build knowledge, and they summarize and they save as I see. They can paraphrase it and they can save it in search progress. Also, it improves their research skills. They evaluate sources. Of course, NewsGuard and other NewsGuard, especially in search progress, help them evaluate the sources and they organize their findings and they can organize in a logical flow. Of course, scaffolding and zone of proximal ZPD in digital research works here as the theory put forth by Vygotsky. So this is a teacher-guided task. It is not the students on their own. They are going the Google search and they find out information, but teachers assign them the task and they use search progress, and teachers can monitor what students are searching and how many sources they are looking for, from which source they paraphrase information and summarize it. So it enhances their autonomous learning skills, gradual development of autonomous research skills. Slowly, with the help of the teacher and with the help of search progress, they start searching. Slowly, they develop the skills that they're required for larger research in the future. It also enhances critical thinking. They own their work. They don't, and the evidences are recorded in the search worker, how step by step they progress in their learning and research skills. Of course, TPAC framework and search, it also included, or the principles of TPAC, that is technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge framework. It was introduced by Mystery and Kohler in 2006, also works in this favor of using search progress. So how these things are integrated in pedagogy, technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge. Integrating technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge, search progress supports inquiry-based pedagogy and research literacy development. Of course, connectivism is one of the latest theories that support, whose principles support the use of AI tools and modern technological platforms. Information access, they access through digital networks. They find and share information effectively. Of course, they can collaborate with the peers, not technological. When they work together, if they find more resources, they can share it with their friends. Real-world literacy, build real-world information literacy. They work on themselves going into the net, but they are supported by the teachers and the tool. Of course, in this study, we use the technological acceptance model, as we heard from another session. Okay, this one is a model that is used to measure the satisfaction level of user satisfaction level of using any technology. And here, these are certain constructs like perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, behavioral intention, and actual system use. So based on this theory and based on this background, and search progress being a new tool being used at our university, there is a research gap we felt, and I have framed this research objective to gain deeper understanding about preparatory studies and the UTASA intermediate level students' perceptions of using search progress in facilitating project and presentation course in terms of its perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived attitude, and intention to use, perceived actual use, and information literacy. So main research questions was formed this way. What are UTASA preparatory studies and the intermediate level students' perceptions of using search progress in facilitating project and presentation course in terms of perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived attitude, and intention to use, perceived actual use, and information literacy. There are many sub-questions were formed in order to smoothen the research and to be specific. How do students feel about the ease of use of search progress? How do students feel about the usefulness of search progress? What are students' attitudes and behavior intentions regarding the use of search progress? How do students feel about their actual use of search progress? These are within the framework of technology acceptance model. And also, how do students feel about information literacy when using search progress? Is there a statistically significant correlation among these different constructs in the TAM framework, perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, attitude and behavior intention to use, and actual use of search progress. Since it focuses on information literacy, another sub-question was formed. Is there a statistically significant correlation between information literacy and learners' perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, attitude and behavior intention to use, and actual use of search progress? And since it involved males and female students, they being the two major categories, of the population, another question was formed. Is there a statistically significant difference between male and female participants regarding the perception of using search progress? And finally, an open-ended question was given to students to collect qualitative data. What are users' perceived benefits and challenges of using search progress, and how can it be improved? So based on this research objective and research questions, the methodology was, it's a mixed methodology, an experimental cross-sectional retrospective survey study. So we give them this treatment of using search progress, and after towards the end of the semester, we gave them this survey, and also we used a technology acceptance model as a framework and its different constructs to measure student satisfaction level, and also examine the theories, as I mentioned earlier. So using AI tools in micro teaching and learning, that's a treatment given. It's a post-test only study. That means after the treatment, students were given a survey and to collect quantitative data, and then an open-ended question was given to collect qualitative data. Analyzing the quantitative data, descriptive and inferential statistics were used. Analyzing the qualitative data, collecting it through open-ended questions, and thematize the findings. So this is a demography of the participants. There were totally 203 students. It was a good participation because total there are about 400 plus students took project and presentation course. So almost nearly half of students participated in the study. So males were 97 and females, number of females was 106. It was a level 4 project. Presentation was fall 2024 and spring. So these are the findings. For under each construct, 5 statements were included. And of course, Cronbach's test was conducted to know the reliability and the internal consistency of the questionnaire, and it comes positive. It gave a positive result. So regarding the ease of use, almost 60% of students, that is this is an overall mean, 3.5% student, 3.5 out of 5 Likert scale rating, they responded to it. That means they responded it positively. And the usefulness, majority of the students felt useful, about 60%, or out of 5 points, Likert scale 3.4 score was scored by the construct usefulness. And then attitude and intention to use, similarly 3.4, it scored nearly 3.4 score out of 5. And the actual use, their perception about how they felt positively, about 3.5 students agreed with it, or they felt it good, useful. They had a positive perception of using search progress. About information literacy, 3 out of 5 scale, Likert scale, an average of 3.5 score was scored by the responses, and it shows that they had a positive impression about using search progress in order to improve the information literacy skill. That means identifying the correct sources and also paraphrasing and adding references and citations. So is there a statistically significant correlation among learners' perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness, attitude, behavioral intention to use, and actual use of search progress? This is in the framework of TAM. This is R value and probability. I didn't get any statistically significant responses, but some of the items where correlations were weak. So that shows that even without search progress, the impact is not simply because of search progress. Even students can, it might be other factors that played. So in none of the correlation, we could find a statistically significant correlation between these constructs. However, there are some weak positive correlation could be found, but as a matter of surprise, I found there are weak negative correlation across different constructs. So that is a sort of intuitive paradox. That means normally it is not like that, but in some studies, it is the same findings were found. Since information literacy was the main focus of the study, one of the main focus of the study, a test was conducted. Is there a statistically significant correlation between information literacy and other construct of the study? So though there were no statistically significant correlation, we could find a moderate or some strong positive correlations, but it is not statistically significant. So this also need to be investigated further. So the effect might be because even it can happen without the use of search progress. Coming to the second last question, is there a statistically significant difference between male and female participants regarding the perception of using search progress? A two-tailed independent t-test was conducted, and this is the statistical significance. And there is a statistically significant statistical difference between male and female perception of using it. So this could be researched further. Probably why females, what is the differences? What are the reasons for this statistically significant difference between the perceptions of males and females? And finally, the last questions about qualitative data collection through open-ended questions. Students gave a lot of feedback, and some examples are here. To be honest, it was very helpful because I can easily save my sources in a list. Suggestions for improving the tool include adding the ability to filter result by topic or date. I have 4 minutes left and I will conclude soon. My topic was about student earning money through the internet, but all the links was about students learning. So I had to go deeper in the research. So probably the students need to improve in their search skills or the key words or terms that they input. Some of the researches are very long and complicated to understand, so it would be helpful if there was more simple researches. So these are some of the concerns raised by students. It kept me organized. The main challenge was the slow loading time. There's a technical problems. Don't find easily when I search progress. So some students felt it not very useful. So based on many pieces of qualitative data, these themes were identified: usability and user interface design. So these are the sub-themes: easy to use, navigation challenges they face, performance issues they face. So these are the verbatim data. The second theme was search functionality and relevance. Effective search and filtering, some of them felt positively. Difficulty in finding specific or relevant information. Need for improved filters. Search functionality and relevance. Okay, I think, yeah. The next theme was supporting learning and developing skills. Research and reading skills, they felt that it helped them. And then evaluating information and technology. I taught me how to choose better keywords, evaluate sources, and focus on reliable academic content. Using information legally and ethically, cite sources properly. These are some of the verbatim. And finally, content clarity and presentation was another theme that we derived from the analysis of data, quality data. Clear explanation and examples, these are sub-themes. Long or complicated content. So we could find some negative and positive responses. Suggestions for improvement. Training tutorials, students require training. Of course, we conduct a workshop at the beginning of the semester to familiarize teachers and students about it. Improving the design. There are some neutral responses, like some respond with no challenges. Some say it's not clear. Okay. So these are some of the responses. So to my conclusion, The stake and some recommendation based on the study and finding the stakeholders, teachers, students should continue the implementation of search programs to enhance research skills and information literacy, as the findings revealed a favorable perception of the use of AI-powered search progress in micro. Overall, we got a favorable response. Further investigation is recommended to understand the specific factors contributing the lower scores in terms of participants' perceived attitude and intention to use and perceived usefulness and Microsoft Search progress. Further studies, I have three more points, and I will conclude. Further studies are recommended to explore this relationship, potentially considering other variables such as user demographics, prior experience, and system design features, and different contexts because of the weak negative correlation, which is not statistically significant. So I discussed it when I discussed the quantitative findings. My time is almost over. Given the potential strength of the relationship between information literacy and actual use of search progress without statistical significance, further investigation should be conducted with a larger sample size to confirm findings. Since there is a statistically significant gender differences in perception of using search progress, with the females scoring higher mean than males, the specific reason for the differences should be investigated and improved. Further study concluding a greater number of participants across different higher educational institutions for prolonged period of time might be undertaken to gain better understanding on the effectiveness of AI-mediated Microsoft Search progress in improving learners' research skills. These are some of my references, and I think my time for question and answers is over. And thank you so much. Once again, my appreciation to TESL conference organizers.